What's going on, guys? We have another great weekend of sports that just passed. First, let's get into the NFL side of things. You have Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles with a disappointing loss at the end of the game against the New York Jets. Jalen Hurts throws three interceptions. Not only does Jalen Hurts throw three interceptions, one of those interceptions cost him in the game to win the game. Let's get started. One of the interceptions Jalen Hurts throws, he throws it in double coverage, trying to force feed the ball, and it gets picked off. The third interception is going to be the one that everybody talks about. Jalen Hurts throws an interception with 2 minutes remaining in the game on a 3rd and 8. Keep in mind, a first down wins the Eagles a game, but an interception obviously lost in the game. Jalen Hurts threw three interceptions. That third interception is not on Jalen Hurts. It's not his fault. I'm going to tell you guys whose fault it is. It's Nick Sirianni, the head coach's fault, and the offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson's fault for even calling that play. You don't do that. You don't do it. Either you hand it off to Jalen Hurts, let him run the ball, or you hand it off to DeAndre Swift or whoever and let them run the ball. If you get a first down, you win that way. You don't win by trying to throw for a first down. If you have to punt or you have to kick a field goal, that's just what you have to do. Don't ever risk throwing the ball like they called for Jalen Hurts to do. That costs Philadelphia the game. That was a horrible call. Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson should catch all the heat right now. They need to be catching, because if that was Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer, we would be all over them. But because it's the Eagles, we put the Eagles in a different category than we put the Cowboys. We can't do that. That play and that call was inexcusable. That shouldn't even have been called. That's an embarrassment on the Eagles' part that obviously lost in the game. The Eagles should have won that game, being that the New York Jets did not have Sauce Gardner or they didn't have DJ Reed. Both of those guys were out with concussions. That being said, the Jets still have a great defense, and Zach Wilson still played well enough to keep those guys in the game to do what they need to do on the offensive side of things. You're playing against Zach Wilson, not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is out. Zach Wilson is in. We know that. You have to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. I'm not saying that they should have beat those guys. The Eagles should have beat those guys by 40, but they should have beat them. You can't lose against the teams that you should beat. I'm going to tell you why. The Eagles play the Dolphins next week. That's going to be a tough task. Even though the Eagles are going back home, you look at the Dolphins with Tua, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Mike McDaniel. Those guys in their explosive offense, not to mention their offense, they don't even get credit for their defense. Their defense is phenomenal too. You have Jalen Ramsey that's trying to come back sooner than later. Those guys are already 5-1, so you have to watch out for that too. I'm saying the Eagles have a hard schedule. Down the line, the Eagles have a hard schedule. Like their next 5 games. That's why you need to win the games that you're supposed to win, so you don't have to put yourself in this position that you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to beat the Dolphins and you're going to have to be on your A game. Desmond Ridder for the Falcons threw 3 interceptions last week when we were trying to come back against the Washington Commanders. That lost us the game as we were trying to come back. Jalen Hurts throws 3 interceptions for the Eagles. That loses them the game. That loses them the game. You can't be turning the ball over and then expecting to win. It doesn't work like that. You're not going to win like that. It's not going to happen like that. The Eagles looked really good the first 3 quarters, and then that 4th quarter, they just fell completely off and just gave the game away. So I have my concerns about the Eagles, but we need to give Jalen Hurts that same backlash and scrutiny that we give Dak Prescott. Now, you really cannot put Dak and Jalen Hurts in the same sentence, because when the pressure is on, We know that Jalen Hurts is going to step up. When the pressure's on, we know that Dak Prescott's going to fall off. The Eagles just got to the Super Bowl last year. The last time the Dallas Cowboys got to the Super Bowl, about majority of us that's watching this wasn't even born. So we can't put Dak and Jalen Hurts in that same conversation because we know one is going to get it done and we know the other is going to crack under pressure. I hope that the Eagles bounce back. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, but I have to call it like I see it. When you throw 3 interceptions, that's inexcusable. You're costing your team. Jalen Hurts knows he has to be better. I'm sure he will be better. Next topic. The San Francisco 49ers and the Cleveland Browns. San Francisco loses a game that they probably should have won. Deshaun Watson has been out for 2 straight weeks. 2 straight weeks. He did not play in this game. The Browns' backup quarterback was P.J. Walker. They should have won that game, the 49ers. You could blame it on the wind. You could blame it on the rain and the bad weather. That's too many excuses. The 49ers should have won. They played against virtually no quarterback. They should have won that game. They did not get it done. They did not look good. Brock Purdy did not look good. The whole offense did not look good. The defense did their part. That's good. Usually the offense does their part. They did not. That whole game, I was like, okay, Kyle Shanahan, he's an offensive wizard. They're going to come up with something. They're going to do something. They're going to get it going. It's halftime. They're going to get it straightened out. They're going to get going eventually. They did not get going at all. Jake Moody misses a field goal at the end of the game that would have won in the game. I'm not overly concerned about the 49ers, but I'm concerned because Trent Williams, the offensive tackle, got hurt. Deebo Samuel got hurt. His shoulder, I think they said it was. Those guys are day-to-day. CMC, Christian McCaffrey, got hurt. It's his oblique. He's having an MRI this week to see what that's all about. The thing with the oblique, that's not good when it's an oblique problem. That's not good. So CMC is probably going to be out for a while. I love CMC. I loved it with Carolina. The thing about that is CMC is injury prone. We know this. We just want him to have one season where he just stays healthy. And honestly, for me, I thought that year was going to be this year from CMC. But with that oblique, you have to be really cautious. So I would be surprised if CMC plays this week. But the 49ers, I was concerned in that game because y'all are playing against Myles Garrett and a great defense. I get that, but y'all are not playing against no quarterback. Brock Purdy, you did not show up for the first time. You did not show up for the first time. That was your first regular season loss. And I think that was also Brock Purdy's first regular season interception, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to go back and check that, obviously. Y'all did not look good on offense. Y'all can blame it on the weather, like I said. Y'all can blame it on any of that. Y'all did not look good on offense. The bottom line is, y'all are supposed to beat the Browns. They didn't have Deshaun Watson. I don't care that the Browns have a great defense, which they do. Y'all have to take advantage of the teams that y'all are supposed to beat. Y'all have to. The Eagles or the 49ers did not do that. I would say that I'm more concerned about the Eagles than I am the 49ers because like the next 5 weeks, the Eagles have a hard schedule. They have a hard schedule. The 49ers, on Monday, they're playing the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings don't have Justin Jefferson. As we know, Justin Jefferson's hamstring is hurt, so he's not playing. Their quarterback is Kirk Cousins. We know that Kirk Cousins is hit or miss. He's either going to show up or Kirk Cousins is going to look really bad. It's hit or miss. The Vikings defense has been atrocious for like 2 or 3 years now. So we know against Kyle Shanahan, he's going to bust them people. He's going to call them plays. He's going to bust the Vikings defense. So I'm not overly concerned about the 49ers. But that game against the Cleveland Browns, they should have won. They didn't take care of business. I expect them to take care of business next week against the Minnesota Vikings. And I expect that Jalen Hurts will come out and have a better game against the Miami Dolphins. Because if he doesn't, we're really going to be concerned and saying what's going on with the Eagles. So you need to beat in any sport. You need to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. So when you play the hard teams like the Eagles are playing the Miami Dolphins, you're good. I'm not saying you could take in that game and lose that game, but you're good. You have a little bit of breathing room. Now it's like they're going in back home. They're playing the Miami Dolphins. It's like they have a little pressure. Y'all better win, or we're going to be really questioning y'all again. So it would be interesting to see what Jalen Hurts and the Eagles do and how the 49ers bounces back against the Vikings, which I expect them to do. That's all I have for you guys today. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, give me some feedback, and I will catch you guys next time.